My next guest is one of the big winners last weekend at UFC 309, getting it done over Jonathan Martinez. It is Marcus McGhee, the Maniac, back here on the program. Marcus, how you doing, man?
I'm doing great, man. Doing great. Just another blessed day. Yourself, sir?
I'm doing awesome, but I did not beat a ranked opponent in the UFC at Madison Square Garden in New York last week. That's pretty impressive, man. I know you felt like you were going to win going in. How did the fight play out to your expectations, kind of looking back on that performance?
Honestly, again, we all have big critiques on ourselves. I expected a little bit more of myself. I feel like there's certain things I didn't pull out of my tool bag. So honestly, but as far as Jonathan, I knew he was going to be tough. I knew that his kicks were extremely hard. I knew that he had fought everybody in the division basically. So I expected him to be just as durable and tough as he was.
Um, I know obviously Martinez had you pretty hurt in that one. How close were you to being like, uh-oh, this is, not looking so hot? Like take me through that moment in the fight.
Yeah, absolutely. It definitely was hurt. It was compromised. It was more so less me being in pain and more so just the fact that the leg functions just like any other human leg, right? Like once that nerve is beat up, it's beat up. So he just happened to land two good ones in the right spot, and both of those actually were pretty pinpoint shots. So there was a moment for sure where I was like, man, I could definitely just go ahead and get out of here, and nobody would shortcut me. You know what I'm saying? Like it was understandable, but in my mind, that wasn't even an option.
Yeah. And I think that also credit to your experience. I mean, it shows a lot of heart to overcome something like that. Some fighters might have gone down, but you were able to sort of persevere. I'm sure that was a bit of a moral victory for you as well in the fight.
Oh, huge. Oh, huge. You know what I'm saying? Honestly, just like everything I go through, all my spirit, everything I'm going through spiritually, just my walk with God, like honestly, it was like a testament to a lot of those things. So for me, I was joyful in the fact that I got that opposition. It's kind of a crazy thought to have because obviously you want to perform the best you can, but being able to overcome opposition and show that toughness, that grit, in the face of adversity, is something that I would like to add to my platform. So I'm glad I got to do that.
How are you feeling today? How's the leg? How's everything?
Yeah, it's doing pretty good. Honestly, I was walking on canes on crutches the first day, just trying to stay off it. But everything's been pretty good. It's obviously still swollen and injured. But yeah, I finally got home today. I was in New York with my wife, so eating whatever I wanted, and being up and down and walking here and there probably didn't help it. So now that I'm actually home, I'll actually be able to get it like taken care of.
Was that always the plan to stay a little bit later in New York, or did you have flight troubles? Because I've heard of some people who weren't able to get out of New York.
Yeah, no, for me, it was already planned, honestly, regardless of the outcome of the fight, my wife and I deserve some time together, and we are already going to be in New York, a place that both of us never been. And we
Oh,
don't have a
cool.
whole lot of first times that we've done together.
Yeah.
So to be able to do a first time something when you've been with somebody for so long, it's pretty cool.
I guess right now, just wait to see how you heal up as far as the next fight, because I'm sure now it's all about the holidays. I know you'll get back to training and stuff too, but do you kind of have a plan of when you want to get back in there again?
Yeah, I'd like to be back in, March, April. I don't want to take too much time off, and I'd like to be ready around then. So that's the plan. Obviously, I do want to enjoy these holidays with the family, and I plan on getting back to training the moment I get back able to be training. So, and I'll do whatever I can outside of being able, whatever the leg injury is. So I'll get back to training anyways. But yeah, we'll be looking at what the UFC wants to do, and hopefully we'll get in around March, April time.
And I imagine you're ranked. You beat a ranked guy. I would think that that's going to get you in that spot. I haven't checked the rankings today, but I assume you're there. So do you have like an opponent in mind, or you just kind of leave that up to your coaches and management? I have an idea, but I want to hear your response to this first.
Yeah, honestly, there's a lot of names, and honestly, I've been getting hit on Instagram like different types of people, and for me, I just don't know, I'm down to hear what the UFC thinks about it. Obviously, I think there's a lot of matchups that make sense, but again, we'll see what they want to do. So there's no real name at the tip of my tongue, and I'm not really against anybody. So whatever the UFC wants to do and what my coaches think is right, I'm gonna be down.
The name I was thinking off the top of my head, and I don't know, I'm sure you've been asked this as well, maybe, but would you want to fight Rob Fun? The reason I think of that, obviously, your teammate Kyler fought him, didn't defeat him. Maybe get some revenge for him, or is that something that doesn't matter to you?
No, revenge, no, man. Bless Rob Font, what I'm saying? He's a great dude, and it wouldn't be anything like that. But again, like, yeah, Rob Font would be a great fight, that'd be awesome as well. That's not a fight that I'm against.
Mhm.
But not for any revenge reasons, what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Obviously, like the whole Jose thing, everybody's been attacking me on that too. So that's one that people reached out to me too about fighting Jose. Uh, and then a couple different ones. They've names that I'm super surprised to even hear. It's kind of crazy and surreal to me that these are the names that are getting thrown out as me being fighting them for my next fight. So it's pretty surreal. But yeah, again, like that's why I'm like, man, it's just for being so high up now, being ranked, and then also having options still. It's kind of cool.
Yeah, no, for sure. What's some crazy names you're hearing that people are throwing out there?
Well, yeah, Cheeto Vera, you know what I'm
Okay.
saying?
Yeah.
Like again, Jose, like that was a like Rob Font, you know what I'm saying? Like those are huge names, you know what I'm saying? Those guys been not only are they amazing fighters, tough human beings in general, but they're also been in the top of the division for their whole career, you
Mhm.
know?
But you're ranked now, so I think anything kind of goes at this point. I mean, we even saw, like, just as a quick example. I'm not comparing you to him, by the way, but Umar Nurmagomedov getting to fight Corey Sandhagen without having any ranked wins. So I think anything's sort of possible in the weight class, right?
Yeah, exactly. And that's why again, I'm not too overly concerned about it, like I'm going my plan is to have to fight all of them,
Mhm.
right? That's the plan. I'm going to keep on leveling up, building my skill level and then going in here and continue to keep on trying to beat these guys. So I'm definitely game to fight all of them. So whichever one that they hit me up and with the time makes sense, I'm not going to be too opposed to whichever name that they decide to drop.
What did you think of that video with Mario and Henry Cejudo? Credit to Drakkar Close, good cameraman, getting that whole exchange there. But I thought Mario was good for holding his composure because Cejudo was kind of being a bit disrespectful, and Mario just calmly saying, "Hey, I've got 7 wins in a row."
Yeah, that's crazy too, because that's another name that I heard is Henry Cejudo. I should fight Henry Cejudo. I was like, geez.
Mhm.
But yo, yeah, I was there. I was there. I was talking to Mario right before that happened, but I ended up taking off because I had my fight to worry about. So I went and supported for a little bit, and then I took off and went to the gym right before that happened. So I think it was good for Mario. Like again, I think that's a smart fight. I think that fight makes sense. I don't think Cejudo wants to fight him or Kyler. You know what I'm saying? Because that was a fight too that had already been mentioned and turned down, was fighting Kyler or Mario. So again, nothing against Senator Henry Cejudo. It's nothing personal, but I don't think that's a bad fight for Mario. I think it makes sense as far as numbers too, especially if Henry is going to be staying in the bantamweight division. So it was cool that I respected how Mario went about doing it.
Yeah, for sure. And I think, and we talked about this in our last interview. I mean, the fans are just crazy. Like, it's like, relax. Like, the judges are the ones that reward the fights or whatever. I know people were upset about how he fought, but then, you could fight reckless and lose, and fans would say he was overrated. You know what I mean? Like, you can't win with the fans.
Yeah, yeah, and you can't. That's why you just can't focus on them. Because like literally, like if I would have made one or two more mistakes and I got kicked in the leg again, the fans would have been like, "Oh my gosh," they would have been talking all types of crazy. So it's like you got to make smart decisions. And even at that point, I still wanted to still wanted to get Jonathan out of there. I still wanted to be, to fight my fight even when I was hurt. I had to make smart decisions and didn't have as much output in those moments as I wanted. But it's like anybody can say anything. So and they not only did have the fans just attack Mario, they attacked me. Then some of them even don't even know that we trained. They'll be like, "Oh, I'm your biggest fan. I think you should fight Mario next because of the Aldo thing." I'm like, "Yo, Mario's my teammate. Obviously, you're not even
Yeah,
paying
you're,
attention.
you're
You're not
fake
my."
fan, fake fan.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
You can't be a
exactly.
fan. How you fan?
Yeah, and actually, now that you bring that up, I mean, I'm sure Jonathan Martinez is getting a lot of that because I hear a lot of people saying bad fight IQ, and again, it's people who probably bet on him, and he made the decision he made, and credit to you, you got the win. I'm not taking anything away from you, but that's another narrative I'm seeing where fans are like just trashing Jonathan Martinez after that performance.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's not like he was just able to land that kick after the fact. You know what I'm saying? He was having a hard time not taking shots to get in there. He took one really good right hand. I busted his nose wide open. And right after that, that's when he made the decision to start wrestling a little bit too.
Mhm.
So it's just like I was still dangerous in that moment. And it's just so funny from the outside in, people just don't know. Like they don't see what we see. I saw that and I credit that me catching him with that punch still is what made him decide to wrestle, because there was still power there. He was trying to zap that away and at least check that. So again, it blows me away that they would say that about a guy who's done the work that he's done, and they're so quick to write him off. So hopefully he's not listening to them either. He's smarter. He fought a good game plan, and they're always going to judge no matter what. So that's just how the game goes.
Did you watch Mike Tyson and Jake Paul the night before your fight?
Yeah, we did. We stayed up and watched it and everything
What did
too.
you
And
think?
Man, I think that Tyson's age showed, but at the same time, that first round, I think Jake Paul got woken up because there's that one good right hand that landed pretty soon, pretty quick, right after the fight got started, and he was like, "Oh man, I still can't get hit by this guy these first couple rounds,"
Yeah.
because he still has the power. So I honestly respected Jake too because I do think Jake not like pulled off the gas a little bit because he didn't want to try to get Mike Tyson out of there, and that's good too because why? Why are we going to do that anyways? It's unnecessary. Not to say that he definitely could have, but there was some moments where I was like, man, if he decided to go for the kill right now, more so than anything, it looked like Tyson was having a hard time on his legs. Like there was something going on there.
And there's kind of been some comparisons to that in the fight that was in the main event of your card, John Jones and Stipe. Did you get to watch the fight at all, or have you caught the highlights?
Yeah, yeah, I watched the fight too. Yeah, I was hanging back out at the hotel by the time the fight was going on,
Oh,
so
nice. Yeah.
I finished off and watched all the fights. And what kind of comparisons were they saying for that
Well,
one?
just that Stipe's older, right? Like he didn't look like the old Stipe in there. I think that's what people are sort of saying about that. I mean, obviously Tyson looked way worse in the fight with Jake Paul, but just sort of the same thing that like we didn't see the same fight or that type of comparison.
Man, that's so crazy because I thought Stipe did a lot of good things, man. That's
Mm-hmm.
what trips me out.
Mm-hmm.
Like John had to respect Stipe more than he planned on,
Mm-hmm.
and credit to him because Stipe is a dangerous man and he wasn't in there for no reason. It blows me away that people are so assuming will assume something like that so quickly.
Mm-hmm.
Like
Yeah.
I thought he looked good, honestly, to tell you the truth. I thought he landed some good punches. His boxing was looking good. We knew that in the wrestling department that John Jones was going to be in my mind, I thought John Jones would dominate and be better in those positions because that's something that John Jones does good. Does Stipe have good wrestling and defensive wrestling? Absolutely, but we're talking about the greatest of all time, or greatest. Well, I think he's the greatest of all time, and especially when it comes to elbows on the ground. Honestly, like he took so much damage and got into the second round. For me, I don't understand where that narrative that he was just too old. He showed up. He wanted to win. He looked great. He had John hurt a couple times too, and it ended how it ended.
And then just last thing on 309, did you see the Bo Nickal and Paul Craig fight? Obviously, Bo getting a lot of flack just for not finishing the fight. What did you think of Bo's performance in that?
Yeah, I think he's not going to be the happiest with that performance too. Is he happy that he got a win? Yeah, absolutely. And I think it's the same thing as like that I'm on. Even though I'm 10-1 in the UFC and I'm still growing, so even though I think that I have all these things like, oh, I'm pretty dialed in because I have been able to finish guys and I have been able to show up and take advantage of every moment. There's still moments in there where we're not going to do the highlights because we're growing, and I think he's growing too. So yeah, I think I definitely think that he was a little bit more timid in there. He's not happy about that. He's not necessarily excited about how he won, and he's going to go back to the gym and look to improve so that when he comes back, he can be better than that. So for me, it's like, man, every fight's not going to be as great. Every fight's not going to be as fantastic as we want it to be.
And just last thing I wanted to mention about your division, we've looks like it's going to be Umar and Merab next for the title. Who do you see winning that fight? Because obviously Umar, really good win over Corey Sandhagen, and Merab obviously defeating your good buddy there, Sean O'Malley.
Yeah, yeah. Honest, that's such a tough fight. I do think Nurmagomedov has the skill set to beat a guy like Marab. I think that he has good enough wrestling to stifle a lot of the takedowns and be there and be have just as much cardio as he needs to have. But I also think that he has a diverse set of strikings. Like he throws that knee down the middle really nicely to the body, to the head. He keeps range. He throws hot kicks too from different angles. So I do think that Nurmagomedov can get it done, but I would not be surprised if Marab did. He is elite, and he's very specific when it comes to his game plan, and he gets it done.
What do you got planned for the holidays? You just went to New York, which was work and pleasure a bit, but you got anything planned? I mean, you live in friggin' really nice place in Arizona anyway, so I imagine you don't need to go too far to get some good weather, right?
Yeah, no, Flagstaff. I know me and the wife are talking about taking the kids up to Flag and catch some snow and everything,
Nice.
and then just the regular stuff for Christmas and Thanksgiving with the family. I'm actually going to probably be a part of more of the cookie and cooking food and actually do the things I want to do in the midst of that. So that'll be cool.
Mhm.
And then I think we're going to do a little trip too, but I think we're going to do that begin like right before New Year's, and
Mhm.
then come back right after New Year's. A pretty big trip. So that's something I've been really wanting to do, and we just talked to some of our good friends, and I think we're gonna join the families up and take a good trip.
One thing I wanted to ask you is I asked Mario this as well in our interview. Do you ever get like recognized when you're taking your kids to school and stuff? To like, obviously you're getting more popular now, and is that something you're getting used to? Because I know, like, I'm sure like you're this fighter and very popular and stuff, but you're also the dad as well. Do you ever get that?
Not that much, a little bit. Some of my son's basketball team players know it, but they don't. It's so funny. My kids don't really go brag about it or talk about it.
Yeah,
So it's kind of cool that they don't too, because I like that they don't like get a big head about it.
yeah.
Like I happen to fight for a living, and that's what I do. And they just happen to be my kids. So not really at the schools, but I do get noticed more in other places than I would think I get noticed. It just doesn't seem like I would get noticed. But yes, I do get surprisingly noticed more than I thought.
Yeah, well, that's because you keep winning fights, Marcus. Again, congratulations, UFC 309. What a big event that was. Anyone you want to thank before we get out of here? Any sponsors? Any social media? I'll give you the last word.
Yeah. Riz Pharma. Riz Pharma has done so much for me. Definitely got to thank those guys. My guys over at Built Better in Scottsdale here. Core Chiropractics. Tosa's Bar and Grill. They hosted my watch party for the fight. Eminent Wellness. They take care of me. With the hyperbaric chamber and the red light therapy and cold. They have everything over there. So super appreciative of them as well. Obviously, my team, the MMA Lab, just getting me together and taking care of me constantly. Raton High Hills. I just teamed up with them. They have some great apparel as well. So, yeah, people definitely go check them out. Mental Joe Apparel, they've been helping me out for a long time as well. My nutritionalist, Ancientarian, Rob over there with Ancientarian. Just, man, I have such a good squad of people around me, and I'm just so thankful. And, last but not least at all, I have to thank God for everything that He's placed in my life and where He's taken me. So, huge shout out to God.